Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be talking about spellcasting. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Divine Caster, the Cleric. When they enter the second half of a campaign, after they've hit the mid-game of level 10, they hit level 11. And they're granted their 6th level spells. 6th level spells are the moment when you stop affecting the world immediately in front of you, and you start being able to do things that affect the world at large. 6th level spells are a pivot point for magic, and the divine power of the cleric does not disappoint when we're talking about 6th level spells. You can only usually cast one of these a day until very high levels, and they need to matter. Clerics can switch their spells out after a long rest, but knowing your 6th level spells is key. And I've chosen a list of 5, a top 5, that I think all clerics should pack away for those really, really crucial moments. Starting off with number 5, we have True Seeing. True Seeing is a very simple spell. You cast it, costs a bit of gold to cast, and for an hour, concentration free, you or a creature you designate has true sight. You can see through all illusions, all disguises, you can see through darkness, you can see through invisibility, you can just see anything. You see things exactly as they are, no matter what has been illusory cast or manipulated. You also can see secret doors that have been hidden by magic, which is great, and you can see into the ethereal plane. So any creature that's trying to follow you, spy on you, or attack you from the ethereal realm, you can see them too. It is a super powerful ability. Most boss monsters, that have true sights are very difficult to handle. And now a cleric can just do this at level 11. It doesn't take concentration, it's just a solid problem-solving spell. So that's why it's on the list. Now, for number 4, we have another awesome buff spell, Hero's Feast. Hero's Feast is a clutch spell in a long-term adventuring day. The spell takes 10 minutes to cast and costs 1,000 gold every time you cast it. So it's expensive. And then it creates a feast for a large group of people. Your whole party plus some key NPCs will spend an hour eating this feast. So I wouldn't do this in a dungeon. I'd do this at the beginning of an adventuring day. The effects of Hero's Feast last for 24 hours. And they are some solid buffs. First of all, you're cured of all diseases and poisons. So if someone goes into a Hero's Feast already sick, this takes care of it. Next, you're immune to being poisoned and to the frightened condition. So nothing can scare you anymore. That's potent. You also, for the entire 24-hour duration, have advantage on wisdom saving throws. Just the whole day. So, yeah, they're some of the most important saving throws, and now you have advantage. Finally, you get a raise to your maximum hit points. This is not temp HP, this is an actual boost to your maximum hit point spot. 2d10, which is an average of 11. So everyone gets a hit point buff, everyone gets advantage on wisdom saves, the whole party is just buffed to the nines. That fear effect, absolutely phenomenal to just be immune to fear. Boss monsters are immune to fear, powerful creatures are immune to fear, and now you are too. So no more scary stuff. Hero's Feast is a great party buff at the beginning of an adventuring day where you're going to be doing something real difficult. That's when you pull this out. You don't do this every day. It's too expensive, even at the higher levels. But as a cleric, what better thing to support your party than to give them the Hero's Feast? Now, for the third one on this list, we have a spell that's a little complicated. Planar Ally. Planar Ally it's a spell where you can ask for help. Basically, you spend 10 minutes casting this spell, and you beseech a great and powerful creature for its assistance. It recommends, as your cleric, that you could do it with your deity. But you could also do it with a great fairy, a great fiend, a great eldritch being, basically some creature that is on the god tier or the very upper echelons of power. You beseech them for their help. They will send to you a representative. If it's a deity, they could send a celestial to you. If it's a fiend, they could send a demon to you. The concept is simple. Like, you ask for help and they send a representative. You then have to bargain with that representative for help. Depending on who it is, if it's a celestial, they might want you to make a donation to a temple. If it's a fiend, it might have to be a soul transfer, or you to kill someone important, or whatever. The value varies greatly, and it specifies in the spell's description what it should be. If you want help in the short term, and I'm talking like you just want them to help you do something that'll take them a couple minutes, but you need a powerful creature to do it, then they will probably charge you 100 gold pieces per minute. If it's something you measure in hours, so it will take part of the day, then the cost should be measured in 1,000 gold pieces per hour of assistance. And if it's something that would be done over multiple days, since this spell doesn't technically have a limitation for how long it can last, it's up to the DM and the planar creature you summon. But if it lasts a number of days, it's 10,000 gold pieces per day. This cost obviously varies, and the way that you give it to the creature varies depending on what they are, but the simple matter of the fact is, you cast this spell, you ask for help, whatever that may mean, and if you can pay the cost, the creature will probably help you. They're under no obligation to. They can leave if you cannot come to an agreement at any time. They're not bound to your service. They simply will make you a deal. And they probably won't do anything suicidal. They'll likely fight with you, but if the odds are against you and it's likely that they will die, they probably won't do it. But this is a special kind of summon. It's not like summoning celestials or summoning fae. This is different than that, because this creature is a direct representative of a larger power, as opposed to some random angel you summon. And you have to pay for their service with more than just the spell slot, but the amount you can accomplish, the amount of help you could get with an angel or a demon in your back pocket to just say, whatever we need, we can get help, and as long as we can pay for it, they will probably help us, is so open-ended and can solve so many problems in the game, whether it's combat, social interaction, or puzzle solving related. This is just a win. It's a win, and it's a powerful spell that a creative party will get endless miles out of. So, what else we got? The number 2 pick on this list, Word of Recall. Word of Recall is actually one of my favorite teleportation spells. It's a spell that works in such a beautiful way, because when you cast it, you will cast it in a sanctum of some kind, usually a temple or a home base, something that is related to your deity as a cleric. When you cast it there, it creates a recall point. The recall point can then be gone back to by casting the spell again, and there's no limitation on how long you have to wait. The recall point just exists and goes through dimensions, through different planes of existences. When you cast the spell in the moment you want to teleport, you call your party together, everyone needs to be within 5 feet of you, and you cast Word of Recall as an action, and poof, you are now back at your recall point. It is a video game style teleportation with no real limitations. Now, you might be saying, well, why is this better than Teleport, the spell, or Teleportation Circle, the spell? Well, Teleportation Circle takes time. You can't do this in the middle of a dangerous situation, because it takes a minute to draw out the circle. And yes, you can go to designated locations, but creating a teleportation circle takes a year, at least, unless it's a spot that already has one. And the spell Teleport, most of the time, has a risk involved. Yes, you can cast as an action and go anywhere, but it's also a spell level higher than this. And there's risk factors involved if you're not going to a teleportation circle or you don't have an associated object, even a place you're familiar with, you could still have a mishap in theory. Word of Recall gets around all of that. You simply go to your home base or a temple dedicated to your deity, you cast a spell once, you set your recall point, and then any point in the future, whenever you're in danger or you need to get home quick, you cast the spell again and you're just there. No problem, no fuss. And no problem, no fuss, long distance teleportation, peak. Definitely deserves the number 2 spot on this list. So what's number 1? Well, number 1 to me is the only attacking spell on this list. I guess you could have plan your ally fight for you in theory. But the number 1 spell is Sunbeam. Sunbeam is a beautiful spell that does a good amount of damage. You cast a spell as an action, and a 60-foot line of sunlight, 5 foot wide, 60 foot long, line of radiant light shoots out. Creatures make a con save, not the best save to target, but if they fail it, they take 6d8 radiant damage and are blinded for a turn. The trick about Sunbeam is that unlike a spell like Lightning Bolt, for example, which does a similar thing, it's not 68, it's 86, and it's a line of lightning. The cool thing about Sunbeam is that it's a concentration spell that lasts a minute. The light stays and will burn creatures over and over again. But of course, it's a line, so they could move, right? Well, guess what? As long as you're still concentrating on the spell, you can use your action to redirect the lights in a different direction. So you just have a permanent beam that you can move around as necessary and target creatures for a decent amount of radiant damage over and over again. And blind them if they fail their save. So this is a wonderful stand back and just burn everybody sort of spell, but it's not fire, it's radiant, which is even better. That's an amazing damage type. Very thematic for the cleric, and a great attack that any cleric should have, ready to dish out in an emergency moment when they just have to take out the hordes. It's really thematic, really powerful, and I highly recommend it. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more spellcasting reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.